Hello everyone and welcome back for Game 3 of FlyQuest versus Golden Guardians. The LCS Spring playoffs are in swing, and hey, for Golden Guardians, their backs are against the wall. They have to win 3 straight games for a chance to move on.
It's going to be pretty tough based on how the games have looked thus far. FlyQuest has been dominant in the first 2 games. You know, it's not just that you're down 2, but you're like, we almost had it. They're going to need to change something up seriously because I think, the analyst has talked about it a fair bit. Mark suggesting perhaps put the ball in Hauntzer's court, allow him to get counter pick, allow him to look for a split push or do something, because Goldenglue as well as the bot lane, they have been significantly behind. It feels like they are getting outclassed in this series, and Golden Guardians is going to need to really mix something up if they want to have a chance to come back.
Yeah, it feels like the strength for Golden Guardians lies in roughly 2 spots. It's Closer, being an incredible jungler who is good at team fighting and ganking overall, and I think he's held up more or less throughout the series, and FBI in team fights. The laning phase is not so much Golden Guardian's strength, but giving him a backline team fighter like Aphelios, who by the way is banned every single game, and using that to find your late game damage and in game 1, the team fighting was actually pretty okay. That kind of worked out. The problem was all the early game stuff. They kept losing the Drakes, they were losing the Smite fights, they lost Elder Dragon, they lost Baron. That all fell away, and now we're in game 3. Golden Guardians, by the way, got to choose the side because they lost game 2. They chose red. They wanted red side counterpick. You have to believe their champ select plans were in place. They leave up the Syndra first pick. They grab the Aatrox. They stay, and we're still going to play Varus. Problem.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? You go red side, but then you're going to blind pick your top laner anyway after it kind of hasn't worked out a couple times in a row. Yes, Aatrox is a strong blind pick, but very clearly, this kind of hasn't been working, giving over the counter options to FlyQuest. They will have the ability to counter pick mid lane here if they do so choose, but if Golden Guardians don't do that in the first round, then obviously FlyQuest, we expect them to ban out some of the preferential matchups against Syndra going forward. And it is going to be, again, Santorin playing that Pantheon and solo going to bring out his GP, which I always felt like was his best champion when he had been a mainstay in the LCS in previous years. He had been really, really strong on the GP, very consistent player. So I'm going to be interested to see, does Golden Guardians match jungle or mid here? It will be jungle.
Yeah, and it's going to be looking like matching jungle, the Olaf hover, that is going to be locked in. So we have some desynced options here. We've got FlyQuest with an unanswered mid laner and Golden Guardians with an unanswered marksman for the bot lane. Now, we know Syndra can be flexible. One of the big things that I've seen a lot of analysts talk about with Syndra is you pick her early on, but you leave bot lane open so you can potentially flex if there's an early counter pick. And this is something that, well, you still have to eventually lock yourself into because Golden Guardians are on red side. They can still wait till 5th to do it, but they can at least wait till after the second ban phase to figure out what it is they want to do. Syndra, obviously a very, very good laner, very winning in pro play this year, and we'll see what comes out of it.
And I am expecting it to be mid lane, just kind of given the team, because we haven't really been seeing Turtle play these style of champions in quite some time. He's been pretty regularly just sticking to marksman and kind of going for that style. So some bot lane focused bans here come out from Golden Guardians. It is Nautilus as the takeaway. Perhaps thinking that FlyQuest, if they want to go for a lower mobility marksman, then they don't want to have that Nautilus paired alongside the Varus, which gives you a really strong all-in. Perhaps they're trying to push them towards kind of some of these more defensive options. Thresh also does signify that. Clearly they're not worried about anything that Goldenglue can bring out. They want to take away some of the good aggressive pairings that Varus does have and push Golden Guardians to play a little bit more defensive, I think, on that bottom lane, which to me is telling me that FlyQuest wants to play towards top side of the map. They want to play with this Pantheon and utilize that in the Syndra to take over, around mid lane, to be able to move to the side lanes and not necessarily have to babysit that bottom lane by banning away Thresh and Nautilus, forcing out something like this Braum. Yes, there are aggressive options there, but it's not the same sort of reliable engage that something, like this Nautilus or Thresh could bring. If LeBlanc gets locked in,
okay,
though,
well, time. Exactly, that's FlyQuest hovering the LeBlanc. They're going to wait for it to tick down, and it is going to be the Syndra bot lane. They waited to see, okay, what is your bot lane matchup? It's Varus Braum. All right, we're going to go ahead and put Syndra and Pyke down there. FlyQuest suddenly say, no, actually, we can play really aggressively on the bot lane. After all, we saw your entire comp, and out of nowhere, suddenly it's Syndra Pyke when you weren't sure what any of it was going to be. it also means that Golden Guardians have very, very few aggressive engage tools. So in comes the Sylas to steal some kind of engage ultimate and maybe start things off. But Golden Guardians, they want to start a fight. Olaf runs at you, Varus lands an arrow, or Sylas, steals a Pantheon.
It's pretty interesting. So the Syndra bot, I think, is pretty cool. It kind of goes along with what I was already talking about, protecting a low mobility marksman. This is the same idea. Obviously, Syndra doesn't have a dash, can be very susceptible to all-ins from some of these hook-style champions like Thresh and Nautilus, so you're going to defend using that. And they do have IgNar again on a playmaker. He has been really good on this throughout the year. One of his biggest, I think, strengths is his champion flexibility. There's a lot of initial upfront burst on this squad now when you have LeBlanc, when you have Syndra. These sorts of champions just need to get someone to 20% so that Pyke can dunk them and start that fight off on the right foot. If you can get that first reset, Pyke can completely take over a fight. And they do have a lot of ways to get that initial burst out, to get someone low, to set up IgNar for success in this fight.
Alrighty, well, we are on to the Rift for what could be the third and final game of this best of 5. FlyQuest had a rough fight of a first game win, but an absolute slaughter of game 2. Golden Guardians chose red. They've got a completely new looking team composition, including Goldenglue playing Sylas here in the mid lane, as they are going to walk by a ward of this invade, and IgNar can very cleanly walk away from it.
All right, it is also Hail of Blades on the Pyke here, which I've been seeing a lot more of recently. It kind of allows Pyke to have the ability when you hook someone in or when you stun them to get these kind of 3 quick autos out to have more upfront damage to be able to try to get someone into execute range and threaten that full all in. But Turtle, you're gonna have to flash.
They found that first stun. They need to land one more auto. They flash to make it happen. That should be first blood. Yes, it's taken. FBI grabs 400 gold.
That was pretty sloppy from Turtle. They knew they were there, and he just kind of wandered up. Anytime you have Braum in these level 1 invades, you've got to respect the Q. If Braum Q hits and that passive stun gets procced as it did, you were going to go down. And Turtle was unable to flash the Braum Q, unable to flash the Sylas stun, just really way too late on the summoner usage. And as a result, that's first blood, not only given over to Golden Guardians, but given over to FBI.
Yeah, hugely important right here. We saw a level 1, level 2 dive to the bottom side when Santorin ganked in, and that just completely shook up that 2-on-2 down there. This time around, though, it's got to feel a lot more comfortable. Now, to be fair, FBI is also flashless, so summoner count is identical on this side of the map, and that first blood gold was not cashed in. So bot lane right now is identical.
Yeah, so here it is. He gets slowed up by the E, then tagged by the Braum Q, then tagged by Goldenglue's stun, and Goldenglue flashes in for that auto to proc that Braum stun, allowing the rest of the team to actually flash in and finish that up. Very nicely done. Huhi here now looking to set this up. They're pretty close to the tower, but remember, there is no flash available, and it will just slow the damage.
Yeah. Just a little bit done right there. For now, Santorin is farming heavier. He's stolen the red buff, he's stole the chickens, and he's going to be stealing away the Krugs up there. IgNar going to be losing a lot of health, can't find the axe backwards, and this FlyQuest bot lane is in a pretty big world of hurt. They've got IgNar's Flash and Ignite, but Turtle's TP does nothing. This should turn into a double kill if they play it correctly. There's the exhaust Turtle, cannot walk away. The shield comes up for huhi, easy first blood, but Closer will have to flash to leave turret range, stays alive. IgNar left alone in the lane. Turtle can TP back to the lane, and he can cash in on the wave. Thankfully for him, it's a cannon minion, so it tanks a bunch of turret shots, and he won't lose too much.
He didn't even lose the cannon. They actually were able to get the Targons just as the TP did complete, so nicely done there, but still, all credit deserved here by Golden Guardians. A really great start. Turtle makes the initial mistake, giving over first blood, being down that summoner, and then they realize, hey, we can actually just dive this. And despite the fact that Closer was spotted out, IgNar was not able to get to level 2 prior to that dive coming in. He was chunked very low, so he couldn't do a lot to support Turtle, and Turtle, without that flash, doesn't have another defensive summoner. They have no heal down there. They have no exhaust down there. So it's easy to get that damage down and take him out. And now, you know, no flash, no TP. His base only netted him a fairy charm, right? Like he didn't have anything.
Ooh, bit of danger. Huhi thankfully has the shield still and tries to keep the wave away from the turret, you know, kind of delay how quickly it's going to kill that down. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Closes, nah, you know what, I'm going to take the farm. This is all my gold. Grabs pretty much all of it, only loses a single caster minion, and we get the reset coming through. Berserker's Greaves done for FBI, only a Fairy Charm for WildTurtle. So equal CS technically, but the kill, the assist, and the better recall timing means FBI is far stronger in the lane.
Yeah, it's pretty sad when you have the 125 gold Fairy Charm versus an 1100 gold Berserker Greaves, and that's your first buy. So pretty rough stuff there for Turtle, but we'll see if he can actually just kind of scale it out. Thankfully he is on a champion that has a very good wave clear and can play, fairly defensively. He is going to go back and just grab a Mana Crystal and boots, was able to push it in, so not going to be as bad of a spot as he previously was. And meanwhile, top lane, mid lane, both going great. Yes, there is quite a bit of farm for Hauntzer to pick up, so we'll have to kind of wait and see exactly how ahead Solo is, but 38 CS to 21 temporarily is a monstrous lead for GP. He gets the first base on his Sheen, which is really such a nice scenario as a GP. Anytime you are playing that is kind of what you're dreaming about. And also, PoE, is going to have some minions pick up and be a little bit ahead there too.
Attempts to find the stun, IgNar can't find that one. Now a re-engage the bottom side, the shield is up, but it's gonna be enough damage. You have to believe Closer cannot survive it. IgNar just limps away as well. Huhi pushed off as well, and look at that, FlyQuest completely winning that mid lane fight. Not a problem at all, 1 for 0.
Yeah, 4 men mid there for FlyQuest. We didn't see FBI make that roam, so they had the extra member show up and were able to get that kill. IgNar barely surviving, and now can look to actually threaten again here as Turtle even gets back to bot lane to pick up the wave. So he really didn't lose much of anything, maybe a minion or two on that initial push, but Turtle's going to be really happy about that roam. And these last couple of minutes here, despite a really poor start, is FlyQuest again battling back and showing their superior laning in the solo lanes.
Beautifully done right now. You're looking at another snapshot top side, though it is 46 to 39. But that is with Solo taking a recall and walking all the way back in. That said, Golden Guardian's comfortable enough down here. Goldenglue grabs the Pyke ulti, but can't find a way in as PoE roots in. Still, it will be Cloud Drake picked up, and Golden Guardians grab first Drake for the first time of the series. That is something on the board for them. Claimed pretty conveniently, and they still sit at a 400 gold lead. If there is a game the Golden Guardians wins, this is starting out like one.
It really is. This is by far their best start that they have had, looking pretty good. In these early minutes, grabbing the dragon going to be nice, and we will see how Hauntzer does fare going forward here against Solo. Hauntzer with the early tabbies going fairly defensively. Makes a lot of sense when you are up against not only the GP but also the Pantheon who can come in there. It's going to make things more difficult for them to be able to force taking him down. But at the same time, anytime you're stacking too much armor, there's the possibility of swapping things over, putting PoE in that side lane against Hauntzer, where maybe he can take advantage of that.
Alrighty, well, Chicken Clamp cleared out. Closer is a couple of camps ahead. He's also managed to gank a little bit more than his opponent has. But some of that is, of course, that easy first blood at level 1. Closer playing defensively on his side of the map. There's where the control ward. No one here to defend against him. He's going to be fine just to get rid of that vision and keep the farm going. But there is a trinket ward that's going to spot him doing Krugs. So his location very well known by FlyQuest here. As the top laner's trade blows back and forth, Solo knows that Olaf is somewhat nearby and may have to be respectful of that gank path.
Yeah, so basically what Solo wants to do is thin out the wave enough so that it doesn't just straight up crash on his turret without killing so many minions that it's going to push away from him. Because keeping the wave right about where it is now is pretty much as safe as you can be on GP. It means that Olaf really has no option except a full-on committed like turret dive style gank. And you're not going to really be in much danger. So it kind of puts Hauntzer in this awkward situation.
Once again, looking around at the mid lane, as it is a farm lead for PowerOfEvil. IgNar lurking around as well. Location relatively known. Goldenglue gets the sound effects to know that, someone is stealth nearby. It's okay, he's probably back to the bottom side. Huhi gonna get pulled in. Is there much of a gank? A little bit. Puts up the shield, and now Goldenglue is right back there to look for something else to do. And no ulti to steal just yet. It's almost back from cooldown, but gets rid of a ward. As FlyQuest trade it back and clears out this mid lane. Goldenglue and the rest of the squad has roamed up. They have pushed in the mid wave. They are once again going for first herald. Across pretty much all the games so far, Golden Guardians have gotten every single first herald. They have absolutely rushed this objective, and they've been good at controlling it. And they've gotten decent rewards out of it. But FlyQuest's answer is simply to keep WildTurtle bot lane. He will get 1 turret plate for free. He will deny a minion wave down here as well, and probably get plate number 2. And if the herald doesn't get more than 2 plates, this is a good chase this is a good choice for FlyQuest.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to depend on, right? You know, how much can you get out of it? Sometimes you can get a kill into a Herald, and then you not only get a full turret, but potentially, you know, get a charge on a second turret, and then things can become really good. But FlyQuest has already gotten those 2 turrets on bot side. It's a lot of farm denied, and Santorin is looking to take away this blue buff in the meantime. But Golden Guardians are moving back towards this bottom side, and FlyQuest are going to have to be a little bit careful about this as Closer and Huhi working their way over here to support Goldenglue.
All right, almost the third plate taken bottom side. If no one defends this, it's basically one more wave to cash in on that third plate. We'll see WildTurtle play it defensively, though. He won't do any more than that. So for now, it is just the 2 plates dropping, but that's still, that is turret pressure, right? That's health on a turret that's not ever coming back. That is gold that is still earned. And again, the question does come down to, does Golden Guardians get as much back for their Herald play? I think it's likely to be yes. It's likely to be pretty good, but we got to wait and see it happen.
Yep, have to see if they're going to be able to pull that off. Also, want to track Santorin and his first ultimate on this Pantheon. This is a champion that you really do want to kind of snowball on. You need to be able to be aggressive early on, make things happen. And that first ultimate, you know, is kind of key part of doing that. If you can get out to a side lane, if you can get, you know, GP further ahead, perhaps look for a 3-man play alongside Gangplank towards this Aatrox, that could mean some really good things happening here for FlyQuest. Is if Aatrox falls behind GP, it can get pretty rough, because you know GP is going to outscale, you know GP is going to have a lot of use. Even if you're just kind of parked in a side lane farming, you can continually throw your ultimate towards the 4-man squad and kind of have this like 4.5 v4 with the GP ultimate helping out on the other side of the map.
Well, here comes the pressure to the mid lane. They have not yet knocked down the first turret plate, so Shelly will charge in. They will earn some money here, but it'll still only be the first 2 plates crashing. They can't even get number 3 on that sliver of health. So far, Herald has gone equal to what FlyQuest's answer was, which was just leaving Syndra down to the bottom side. But they find the root, they find the stun, they find a ton of crowd control, and WildTurtle unable to flash away from the Varus ulti. Teleport burned by Goldenglue, but doesn't find anything for it. However, it still means map control. Golden Guardians, they're going to find a stun to IgNar. They can find a lot here. You can't quite get the rest of the CC. We're waiting to, you know, X mark the spot something else, but it should still mean the Drake goes over. Golden Guardians retain their gold lead, and they should claim the second Drake as well.
And nicely done by Golden Guardians. Again, punishing Turtle, unable, as you say, to flash that ultimate. And without that 5th member, it meant, well, FlyQuest just decided we're not even going to try to actually contest this. Santorin immediately went, started farming the wolves. Solo just continued to push. They decided to give that up, and they will look to challenge for some of those later dragons. But, you know, Turtle has not been on point with the summoner usage early on in this game. A couple mistakes already, and you know, the Herald was okay, as you say, gets 2 plates. The initial play here, you know, they are spotting them out. It's a good scout of the week that does land, but that is a max range Varus ultimate there that you would expect Turtle to normally be able to flash very comfortably. Not able to do so though in this case, and it does get knocked down pretty easily, which meant a free dragon for Golden Guardians.
Okay, once again, look at the game state. 400 gold difference, but up 2 Drakes. This feels like Golden Guardians leading, but based on the way I've been seeing these mid-games go, I'm not able to really convincingly say that it feels like they're ahead, because we've seen better choices out of FlyQuest. Even you look at their season overall, FlyQuest tended to have slightly weak early games, but would come back to it anyway with a better overall game record than Golden Guardians. So, you know, they are poised for comebacks in general. I know, talking to or hearing from some of their coaches before, one of the big win conditions was just don't tilt early, and you know, you'll come back and win anyway. As long as FlyQuest aren't tilting off of this small, honestly small deficit, the gold is now equal again. As long as they're in clear spirits, they should be good here.
I don't think they would be tilted by this at all, honestly. Maybe Turtle a little bit would be frustrated with himself, but this is a situation where things are still going well elsewhere on the map. You know, if all lanes are losing and all lanes are falling apart, then maybe you're gonna fall prey to a little bit of that tilt. But you can see 700-800 gold ahead is PowerOfEvil over Goldenglue. Top lane is looking great. I mean, Solo got his Triforce at like 1230, which is very fast. You know, he had really good farm up on that GP, and once you have that Triforce, you're pretty much unassailable at the turret, because you can one-shot the caster minions, and it becomes very, very easy to just wave clear out your tower forever and never be pressured really by that Aatrox again.
FBI is now poised to just sit in the mid lane against WildTurtle. Neither one has defensive options against each other, aside from the movement speed. It's a pretty lethal matchup if it does come to blows, but it's just wave clear back and forth. The threat of a jungler showing up means no one's going to push up too far. The Golden Guardians are somewhat controlling this bottom river right now. Herald is spawning in a minute, but they would rather play for this bottom turret itself, and, well, PoE pretty comfortably still clearing the minions away. IgNar will be slow, but can always jump over wall if needed, and so that means Golden Guardians won't actually push too much in for it.
Yeah, IgNar very cognizant of the fact that Golden Guardians could have actually been camping out in that Tri-Brush, and he was really hesitant to approach it and did end up spotting that they were in there with the sweeper and the pink ward and was able to kind of back it up pretty safely. We can see though TP right back down the bot lane rather for PowerOfEvil, and immediately when they see that TP, Closer heads straight back down. So Closer hoping that PowerOfEvil will get aggressive here on a Goldenglue, but if he doesn't, there's not really a lot of opportunities. Pretty much he has to use his ult, right? Like if you use that and distort, then you Olaf can go in, but barring that, I think it's pretty much not gonna happen for them.
Yeah, hard to chase down the LeBlanc when all you can do is run on your two legs and she can just hop over walls and stuff. So, yeah, not really worth the effort. PowerOfEvil still feeling very comfortable against Goldenglue. Actually burns the flash, but Pantheon is here anyway, and Goldenglue has been melted down. FlyQuest easily taking another kill on the side lane.
Really nice setup there from PoE. It's the two chains coming out of the LeBlanc. He hit him with the chains and then alt chains again to follow it up to lock him down despite the flash for so long that Santorin could get in. Golden Guardians though, good punch back here. Should be able to get this mid lane
really good
turret.
stun as well.
Oh, they can't even get it.
No, see, FBI, because he E'd the Syndra, so he pulled turret aggro right as she stunned him, so he took 3 turret shots, said, you know what, I'm not willing to risk taking a 4th, we have to fall back, and that is his eyes getting a little bit too big for the game state. FBI did not need to harass and pull the aggro. He thought he could get away with it. Yeah. That was not correct.
Could be one of those things where you're looking for the optimization. A lot of times with lethal tempo, you like to throw out one spell to poke and proc lethal tempo, and then utilize that extra attack speed to knock down a turret even faster.
Right.
So I think that's what he was looking for, but it was just really good timing on the scatter by Turtle, and it kind of just worked out in FlyQuest's favor to barely keep that tower alive.
Well, you expect it to drop before too long. Golden Guardians down 1,300 gold. FlyQuest continue to use PowerOfEvil so menacingly well. Back in game 1, he more than doubled the worldwide average for damage per minute on a Syndra, on a LeBlanc, and went really well in the casting in game 2 as well. Poised to do more carrying here in the 3rd game on LeBlanc yet again. Goldenglue gonna once again go for the Pyke ulti. They're once again going to go for Drake number 3. Is Santorin willing to flash for a smite steal? This is going to be the Drake dropping very, very low. PoE over the wall. And would you believe it? WildTurtle claims the objective. IgNar cannot find the assassination, but Goldenglue is at 5 health. And double kill comes in for LeBlanc yet again. PoE already up to 2 kills. FBI running for his life. He's going to be chained up. He's rooted in place. And Santorin is chasing, but not fast enough to get that kill. Regardless, FlyQuest 2 for 0 plus the Drake.
All right, you want to talk about a team being tilted. How tilting is that? You're up 2 dragons, and PowerOfEvil might even get FBI, forces out the heal. It will back off, but IgNar is there. He can get him.
He's dead. He's dead. The flash follow. 350 gold in his pockets. IgNar feeling comfortable here as mid lane's being attacked, and no one is here to defend it.
Oh man, I feel so bad for Golden Guardians. Everything just went wrong for them there. Turtle stealing away that dragon, but it's not with the Jinx rocket, it's with Syndra. It's with the Syndra Q. Combo coming over the wall, stealing that away. Neither jungler even used Smite, so the Smite was not even able to come down here from Closer. Let's watch it one more time. PowerOfEvil goes in, they spike it down, and it's just, yeah, it just gets comboed by Turtle over the wall, and then PowerOfEvil sees the opportunity, flashes in, knocks 2 down. The long chase continues. Closer does get out, but FBI, as we do know, eventually got chased down and killed. But, I mean, this is huge because FlyQuest was already winning in the solo lanes. The big advantage that Golden Guardians had was really stacking these dragons. And that was supposed to be their 3rd Drake. They had the proper setup. They had the jungler in the pit. And if you have 3 dragons, you're 1 off Ocean Soul, you're feeling like, hey, we can still win this. Some things are going bad, but Ocean Soul can turn it around for us. And losing that, not even just to a Smite steal, but to a Syndra combo, that is backbreaking. And honestly, I think it's going to be pretty hard to come back from as you're falling behind further and further in the gold lead and no longer close to that soul point.
Well, we are close to one thing though, and it's the end of the Golden Guardians Spring Split. They snuck into playoffs just barely as 6th seed, tiebreaker day about a week ago, and they made it work. It was a great surge. They were in 9th, they made it up, and hey, well done to them. They actually celebrated. Hey, we made it to playoffs. They celebrated being the middle team in the split. At the end of the day, it looks like they're not going any farther than that one. This game's going to be so hard to win as the last 5 minutes have been all FlyQuest all the time. Another engage looking. Pantheon coming over the top, right above FBI. Easy kill picked up, and huhi burns a stopwatch. He's got reinforcements, flashes back to the team, doesn't matter, Turtle gets the kill anyway. Goldenglue forced to run, no more escape tools left on him, finds a stun, finds a heal, shut down again, PoE, killing spree.
Get out of there. FlyQuest is just smacking Golden Guardians down, coming from multiple angles. LeBlanc coming from one side, the bot lane charging him from the other, and Santorin with the Pantheon ultimate right over the top. They just erase them off of the map, and FlyQuest are looking so damn strong in this series. Full control despite how bad that early game started. Turtle died at level 1 for first blood on the Varus, gets dove at level 2. You would think that the game would be so in Golden Guardians' favor off of that, but FlyQuest has just battled their way back out of this position. And this one, again, it feels like a lot of it is about PowerOfEvil and Santorin coming from 3 different angles. They all collapse at the same time. FBI is just gone immediately, and then Goldenglue and Closer do come in trying to support, but the Syndra ultimate was already cast. huhi gets knocked down, and then Goldenglue knows he has no way out, so he tries to turn around, but it's a clean 3-0 for FlyQuest, and they are monstrously ahead now, 7,000 plus the gold lead.
Looking like a pretty swift 3-0 then here. FlyQuest, as you mentioned, massively ahead. We got a Drake up in a minute, which doesn't mean too much, but they could stack it if they wanted to. Baron is alive. That might well be a target. It's 3-1 in turret score overall, and they're going to keep that map control. You can see mid's already been cleared. They're already attacking top lane with PowerOfEvil. You should feel very comfortable against Goldenglue. Poor Sylas had to go for Merc Treads, only has 1 offensive item, and I don't think PowerOfEvil cares at all what he tries to throw at him. He's up so much in gold that he's up a full completed item himself. Jumps onto a ward, huhi's nearby, but I mean, he's LeBlanc, right? Just jumps right back out. Very, very safe.
Yeah, there's not even the opportunity. That was pretty risky, but there's not even the opportunity to actually like life drain tank them or have this fight where you kind of just survive barely with all the self healing that Aatrox and Sylas can pull off, even Olaf sometimes in those cases, because there's multiple healing debuffs already purchased, right? Executioners was grabbed early by Solo for the lane, Morello's already done by PowerOfEvil, so it's getting really scary, and for FBI, when you're this far behind, you need to be a big source of damage, so you want to complete the Rage Blade, but there's also 2 like full damage mages who have double spell pen on both of them. So if you don't build any MR, you could easily get one shot by the Syndra, one shot by the LeBlanc, and at the same time, now there's a lethality stacking Pantheon who could also one combo you. It just feels like you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if you go defensive, you can't cover all these options anyway, and if you go offensive, you're probably just going to get one hit.
Yep, and that sucks, but at least you have Braum in the way to maybe block the Syndra stuff. LeBlanc's going to reach you if she wants, honestly. She can bypass that, no problem, but, at least you get a little bit there. I do want to give credit to PowerOfEvil, by the way. In this game, he rushed Merlinamicon. He's against several self-healing champions. Actually, I should say basically everyone except Braum has significant self-healing either in their kit or in their item build. I'm glad to see the Grimace Wounds being rushed there, considering that in game 1, he had actually rushed Void Staff when he didn't have to face that, so I really like seeing that. Good job there. And now we get to see FlyQuest continue their pressure. Top lane is under assault. You've got IgNar's Pyke running through the jungle, make sure there's no wards. Santorin's done the same in the top half of this, and PoE is shoved in the top wave. And he's ready to go for some turret damage. 3v1, Goldenglue's going to defend.
Proto Belt there does help a lot with the wave clear, so he will be able to clear out most of the wave and probably stay safe, but we have Solo, who should be completing his Essence Reaver soon. Yeah, he actually has that buy right now, so he's on 40% CDR. That GP is really well and truly online and kind of just sit here in the side lane, continue farming against Hauntzer, and every time his 4-man squad looks for a play, he has his 40 CDR ultimate to be able to throw in there and help things out. It's going to make it so difficult because FBI, you expect the ultimate to get dropped on his head, he's slowed down, and then you have the Pantheon ult coming over top, Pyke looking for you. you know, LeBlanc diving in. There's so many ways for them to get back to the backline and take down FBI, who is going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. But, you know, perhaps if they over-focus on him, that could open the door for Hauntzer, who has farmed well and does have, you know, 2.5 items to his name. So maybe something possible there. But, you know, FBI did decide he couldn't actually skip going in offensive items, so he has picked up the Hex Shrinker, which will delay that Rage Blade quite a bit.
I hope he can do some damage, but it is, well, time is kind of ticking down, it feels like. Not an obvious timer. I think 7.5 minutes to Ocean Soul is potentially something you might see in this game, but realistically, it's the fact that I think FlyQuest is going to start turning aggressive again fairly soon and not just wait to stack all the Drakes. And so Golden Guardians, a little bit nervous, a little bit back to their side of the map. You can see, like, look at just the icons. You can see where Goldenglue has to clear the minion wave way back on his side, right in front of tier 2. You can see where the Aatrox is sent. Hauntzer back by his Braum camp right now. The Golden Guardians recalls, they actually feel a little unsafe right by their own Raptor camp. FlyQuest have just complete immunity to run wherever they want.
Yeah.
No issues whatsoever. And it's so constricting. I mean, look at that Fog of War. They've got nothing. And they've got an almost dead Olaf, who gets the ulti, barely gets the shield, nearly gets sniped. That was a close one. Can't for the knock into WildTurtle. Solo out of battle with Hauntzer. Not sure Hauntzer's going to win that one. Goldenglue TP's in, goes to chase down the Gangplank. So 3v4 on one side, 2v1 on the other. A flash gets him away, finds a barrel chain for a slow, and Solo ults down to get away. They spent a lot of cooldowns, all 5 ultis on Golden Guardians, and they got nothing to show for it.
Not able to get anything there, and so much of this has been about the vision control. There are 3 sweepers right now on FlyQuest, plus the Umbral Glaive there, you know, to be able to actually sweep out with a lethality item on Pyke rather, also. So it's just getting so difficult because all of these champions on FlyQuest want to play from Fog, look for picks, and I think their setup has been so smart as who you're gonna have to flash out there too. You know, when you have Pyke, Syndra, LeBlanc, all of these champions, you don't need the wards as much as you need the vision denial, and they are focusing heavily on it.
Whew. Massive knockback. Goldenglue is in, finds 1 kill. Stopwatch might mean he has a second heal pretty soon. If he can get that in time, has to flash away. No root onto closer, he'll stay alive. So something on the board at least. And Hauntzer feels comfortable against Solo. The Q knockup, does he have flash for the third? He gets the stab in the back. 2 kills in for Golden Guardians. Maybe, just maybe, there's signs of life. IgNar has to flash away. And for now, it's 5v3 on the map with Baron on the field. You have to go for something big. This has to be a Baron rush for Golden Guardians.
Nicely done. That's 2 big shutdowns for them. To be able to actually get all that bonus gold is going to help move them a little bit closer. And it looks like maybe the decision is, hey, let's just try to actually get this dragon. Because they're not moving up towards the Baron. The dragon does spawn in 25. Solo will be up right as it's spawning, though, and does have TP. So Turtle already alive. He's moving out on the map. And it's not even guaranteed as Golden Guardians that you're going to get this for free. So they do get the 2 picks. And now maybe going to look for Pyke.
IgNar has no flash, but he has enough movement speed to get away unless Goldenglue can chase it down. A vaguely rare situation, can't find that, but at least it does send the opposing support away. So maybe that was enough. Maybe it just barely gives Golden Guardians the breathing room to at least stack the 3rd Drake. And you think about that Drake that was stolen a while ago, right? The one that was stolen by the Syndra combo. If that wasn't stolen by Turtle, this was Ocean Soul claimed by Golden Guardians. That would have been the point that maybe turned the game around. Instead, it's still a 6,000 gold deficit. And yeah, in 5 minutes, they can look at Ocean Soul, but it feels like FlyQuest is still the more powerful team.
They are, I think, for now, but at least this is a way in, right? Because FlyQuest actually didn't decide to contest that. They did have a TP, but they didn't have enough vision, so I think they weren't really willing to just walk straight in and have a fight. You know, I talked about some of these champions, how they want to play for Fog, they want to look for picks, and, you know, running straight into a Dragon Pit isn't obviously the way to get those types of setups, but this gives Golden Guardians an opportunity, right? This gives you a way to actually get back into this game. So those 2 picks have meant a lot. And despite the fact that they could have already had Soul had it not been for that earlier steal, they are still only 4 minutes away from a potential Ocean Soul, which can invalidate so much of that gold lead.
Alrighty, here we go. Back on the map, resets are in. Rage Blade is done, so the sidestep that FBI took to grab Hex Shrinker has been kind of compensated forward. He's on the 2 all-important Varus items. The on-hit build is online, and if he gets the time to hit frontline, he really will do a ton of damage. It really will be painful, but it's double flat pen plus death cap for WildTurtle. He's got a lot of threat here as well. And Golden Guardians have to hope their front line is tanky enough to withstand this. They can't get rid of all the wards. They can't really claim control over the Baron pit. And it means FlyQuest gets to walk right back in.
And the other thing is, there's not really any frontliner that's just going to stand there and let you auto them to actually stack the Rage Blade and get the most out of lethal tempo. Because actually look over at the team. I mean, Santorin maybe, but GP's not just going to be standing there meleeing you. There's no tank, you know, and Santorin really is your best hope because the rest of them are going to be dodging in and out. So I'm not sure how easy it's going to be for FBI to actually stack up that Rage Blade and really kind of get the most out of it in any sort of normal fight.
Well, he's certainly going to try. Red buff's going to go over. That's going to feel pretty comfortable. And it will be on for what may be at least a Baron standoff. He won't keep that buff during the Drake spawn. That's going to be too far away for that, but it will be a nice bit of comfort for now. And if Golden Guardians really does think their scaling is better, if they really like late-game Sylas more than they like late-game LeBlanc, or they like Varus more than they like Syndra super down the line, you know, maybe it can look good, and they're happy to play it slower and happy to look at another team fight in 2.5 minutes. They also might not realize they're down a full 7,000 gold. I don't think the game necessarily feels like that, as IgNar jumps over the wall and then goes quickly, gets rid of the ward.
I do think it just depends largely on how the game plays out, right? I think if you just kind of run the two comps at each other 5v5, Golden Guardians has the better team comp as far as that goes, but very clearly FlyQuest are not going to try to play that style. They're going to push out side lanes, they're going to deny vision, they're going to look for picks, and they're going to try to do this constantly. And that is where their team comp really excels. So it's kind of who can impose their will on the opposing team, right? Can Golden Guardians force FlyQuest to come to them and take these 5v5s? Or can FlyQuest manage to play scrappy enough and constantly force Golden Guardians to be responding to these waves and getting picked off in rotation?
Well, right now, the rotation to the top side worked really well for FlyQuest. They took 2 auto attacks, they knocked down that turret, they added some more gold to the coffers, and they kept the gold lead at 7k. But keep in mind, 100 seconds from Ocean Soul. To me, I will still take the 7,000 gold lead if comps are identical, but Ocean Soul certainly is a huge power spike, and it does close the gap a lot here, and Golden Guardians can feel more comfortable. They're able to fight over the top jungle at least a little bit. They're going to knock down a lot of these wards. Feel a bit more comfortable, at least as far as their ability to roam around the map. But there are still some aggressive wards from FlyQuest inside that Baron pit. Those Golden Guardians have not cleared away, so they've really only reclaimed their jungle. They haven't reclaimed even neutral territory.
It's really, really difficult to do so, right? When there's these strong members on the opposing side, as Hauntzer will face check here. He's 7 levels up on IgNar. That is a pretty monumental advantage as far as experience does go. And it's going to be this fight around the ocean, right? And that is why FlyQuest are now here. They know they have to fight here in a minute, so they're trying to get vision now to deny that potential prevention of their setup. They've got to be able to poke over walls. They've got to be able to soften up Golden Guardians before the fight does break out, or it's going to look bad for them. And Hauntzer gets pulled in.
But he finds some damage into IgNar and actually forces the flash away from the FlyQuest support. 30 seconds till the Ocean Drake spawns. Goldenglue has a chance to go for resets. Ult comes in. Turtle should have to burn flash here, but how much time can he buy before it comes in? Half health on huhi, half health on Closer. PoE right back over the wall. He's on a board, not sure he knows, might have seen it. Regardless though, they are poised to fight for this Drake. Ocean region actually better on the FlyQuest side. PoE on the back. Oh! FBI IgNar shuts him down. 1-for-0. Santorin to the front lines. As the stun comes over the top, double kill for IgNar, and this might be all they needed. Goldenglue cannot find the stun. He cannot find the way out. A stopwatch is burned. Huhi is running for dear life. There's the 3rd kill picked up for WildTurtle. Kill number 4 goes to PowerOfEvil, and Hauntzer just has to run away. The hopes and dreams shattering in front of him. The Golden Guardian season all but over.
What a flank from PowerOfEvil. What a series from PowerOfEvil. He just jumps over the wall, knocks FBI to almost no health, and it looked like FBI got hooked by IgNar, I do believe, right at the same time. So he gets comboed by LeBlanc, hooked in, and ulted out. FBI died from full almost instantly there through that Moss shield. He is just gone, and what looked like a pretty good start to the fight from Golden Guardians. I mean, if they could actually get that front-to-back teamfight, they would have been in an okay spot, but FlyQuest finds the angle despite being down the flash from Turtle to start it off and are able to wipe Golden Guardians off the map. Now having that Baron buff again, it's starting to feel very much like that last game. They are on Soul Point. They have side lane advantage with that Baron buff and continue to look to extend this gold lead.
There you go, 66.6 thousand gold. FlyQuest devilishly close here to closing out this series. You have to believe it's got to be over on this one. I don't think they have to wait for Ocean Soul. I don't think they have to wait for anything else. I think they are so far ahead. A simple push will do it. Gonna, play the waves correctly. PoE goes for some chunks on Goldenglue. The problem is, though, that this LeBlanc is out of mana. He's probably gonna have to take the recall. They're gonna have to buy that extra 1 minute at a time before he can actually really fight for this one. IgNar can spot people, but can't go for a fight.
And he's able to buy a full Void Staff on that recall. Or maybe even, did he have the Void Staff already and just get a Death Cap? But either way, I mean, PoE is full build now. His 18 stacks on the Magi's plus the Death Cap. Turtle really, really big here also. And also look at Gangplank kind of quietly scaling up on 4 items, really, really expensive ones too in the build. So FlyQuest is fully online as far as the item builds do go. They are looking really, really good. They have the GA on IgNar for this coming fight, so they could even look to dive deep into that back line and trade him out for a potential kill. But PowerOfEvil basically already has this inhibitor dead, and the Baron power play just feels like it's starting.
It's just beginning. Still a minute and a half left on that one. Bottom inhibitor is gone. Mid and top inhibitor turrets are attackable, but a hard engage towards Turtle. Flashless Syndra is one of the few targets they have. There's not a lot of good ones, but that was one of them. It buys a little bit of time, buys a little bit of gold. However, FlyQuest still feel pretty poised to keep pushing. It's 4v5, sure, but they're up 14,000 gold and a Baron buff. They get top lane inhibitor turret now as well, and curious if they will stay for the next minute or if they will eventually take the reset. For now, mid is under attack. The engage tools for Goldenglue. He finds the stun. They find the chance to go in, but they won't get any more. It's easy to disengage. IgNar goes over the wall.
PowerOfEvil just does so much damage with all this AP to those towers. It feels like each auto is about 20% of a tower's health. So he is just blasting through these, able to just sort of the wall, get an auto down here or there. Hauntzer looking for an angle, but not quite able to find it. And they know with FBI not having ultimate, there's not really any threat of a hard engage coming out from Golden Guardians. So as long as these champions maintain, some dash, if IgNar holds onto his jump, if PowerOfEvil holds onto the ultimate to dash away, there's not really any way for them to get punished.
And FlyQuest managed to knock down 2 more turrets in a pure 4v5 where Turtle died before their very eyes. 15 seconds left in the Baron buff. The Syndra running across the map. IgNar going to try his best. He does not have flash, and huhi does not have much of a health bar left. Half HP left on him as more poke comes down for the FlyQuest side. They got Syndra up towards the top. She's going to go for the scuttle, looks like, and they will reconvene shortly. The Baron buff has ended. The power play massive, though, all things considered. A 1,500 gold lead. Sorry, 15,000 gold lead. Nearly insurmountable here.
Yeah, I mean, there's 1 minute on Soul, so the game at least didn't end just yet. Golden Guardians, it's time to pray. I mean, your base is wide open, so yes, you can get backdoored, but you have to hard commit to the Soul. You have to basically go there, rush it, hope you don't get backdoored, hope you somehow don't lose the team fight, and you also win this fight on the Dragon. And then maybe you can hold on at your Nexus for the next while until you can kind of close the gap, but it is looking like an extremely long shot because I don't really see how they can get out of their base without getting picked off. IgNar and the rest of the squad are just denying so much of vision, still on this triple sweeper setup with the Glaive added in there. Also, they have double GA now as Santorin has completed his. So the next team fight, it's almost like a 7v5. You can just throw these guys in there. And look at IgNar going for the backdoor action here. No one's even answering him. Golden Guardians are a little bit paralyzed. They want to try to go and engage on the other side, but I don't even know if they can get in range to do so. So they're just going to give up the inhibs straight up and look to try to make a fight happen here in mid lane.
I think it's the best option. Give up the inhib, try to fight a 5v4. They have to go forward. This Drake spawns in 3 seconds. Golden Guardians don't have a choice but to go for broke here. And even then, it is probably going to break them. Drake has been started. Either team kills it, that is going to be Ocean Soul. It's going to be massive regen. FlyQuest can always wait to push down mid as well. They're going to go for the play first. So IgNar is already in range. Over the top comes Pantheon. Here comes the engage. Solo flash to the side. Goldenglue finds him, looks for the kill, can't get it just yet. PoE exhausted, but he has burned down huhi. 1 for 0 so far. The chase down. It's another 1 for 1 so far. Guardian Angel now forced out of the top lane. Golden Guardians will hope to find something else, but Goldenglue running low on HP finds some damage, but his health bar is so dangerously low. FBI and Closer now forced to run away. There's only 3 left alive, but there's still 4 for FlyQuest. In goes Santorin, picks up 1, looks for number 2, finds it. That's going to be nearly the ace. Only Hauntzer is left, and the base is absolutely gonna drop. FlyQuest gonna take the 3-0 win and advance to the next round of playoffs. Golden Guardian season has ended. We will see them in the summer, but FlyQuest cement themselves as the better team. The 3-0 victory in the postseason. Pad the stats one more time. Hauntzer drops down for the Bud Light ace, and Nexus falls for a 3-0 victory to FlyQuest.
Such a good series here from FlyQuest, and no doubt left about who the stronger team was today. And I have got to say, what a monster series of games from PowerOfEvil and Santorin. These guys were so good today. PowerOfEvil in particular. The two LeBlanc games were absurd. The Cassadin game got to the point where he's just dominating, and it felt like had Golden Guardians held on, he could have dominated even harder. And Santorin was just everywhere. The Pantheon games were great. It really was a team effort, but damn, that mid-jungle duo was so on point for FlyQuest today.
And Golden Guardians, to be fair to them, did make them work for it in games 1 and 3. Yeah, game 2 they rolled over a bit, but game 1 was back and forth for over half an hour. Game 3 had a pretty good gold lead, 1,500 gold plus 2 Drakes, but the mid game always went FlyQuest's way. Always the better squad when push came to shove, when it came down to coordination, to split pushing, and to team fight mid laner prowess. So FlyQuest, a well-deserved 3-0. We'll see them this weekend in the next round of playoffs. That's it here for us, though. Let's toss it down to the State Farm Analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Freak. Welcome to the State Farm Analyst desk. Gentlemen, they made it a quick one. FlyQuest 3-0, just tidying up the series there in Game 3. Let's talk about it because, again, this went quite contrary to expectation, whereas the previous two best-of-5 series, all of my analysts correctly called what the series was.
Well, that's my bad, first of all.
First of all, you're not invited back tomorrow, Crumbs.
That's fine. If I had to sum up the series in 2 words, mid-diff. PoE just absolutely smurfed this game, and Goldenglue just could not find his footing in this series. From that stemmed the jungle disadvantages, which if the jungle was unable to impact the side lanes, we got to see just how powerful FlyQuest's solo lanes are. Bot lane stronger than Golden Guardians, same thing with the top lane, and once that was the kind of base level for what the series was going to be, and Goldenglue could not win with the Sylas, we knew what the game was going to be like.
Mark, this game, though, it did start off on the right foot for Golden Guardians. That first blood comes through, then we've got that dive into the bot lane with, it looks like they're getting the gold onto the right people. Turtle, next thing you know, is 0-3 on the Syndra, and yet it still fell apart even in their best early game.
I mean, that was crazy, because when I was watching that, I was thinking, like, wow, this draft from FlyQuest looks like the kind of draft you'd expect out of a team that's down 0-2. It's such a aggressive, we need to make stuff happen draft. Like, everyone's basically a playmaker aside from the GP, and even then, that's a pretty scaling, high damage champion. So, like, I was like, oh my god, they're losing this game. This looks really scary. And then just they turn it around. The gold lead, they did a great job stemming the bleeding. As bad as those deaths were, and as great as the plays to get them by Golden Guardians were, they didn't transition that into CS leads in any lane really. And so the gold lead didn't go much beyond those kills into the 1.2 thousand that you can see down there. And then once the map started opening up, great roams by IgNar and Turtle to the mid lane to start breaking him out. And then once they opened up the map, moved around, you could see how much better their macro was.
Crumbs, talk to me about that Syndra pick. It went to the bot lane, and yes, it started off with 3 pretty quick deaths, but you still saw value in the pick itself.
So Syndra right now, obviously, she's always been a very powerful mid laner, but ever since last year, where G2 started playing in the bottom lane and people realized she could be a flexed, Syndra got a lot stronger because you can first pick her and still not give away what your composition is going to be like. And that's something that FlyQuest did today. Some other teams haven't shown that because it requires your marksman to be not only practice with it, but you have a good synergy with your bot laner playing with it. The fact that FlyQuest showed that today speaks positively for their next matchup, because now they go into another series, they can first pick the Syndra, and they will always have an element of surprise to their compositions that will strike fear in the draft moving forward, because PoE is so darn good at it.
a very nice look for them moving forward in the draft. But we heard Azael and Freak at the end of their call there before they tossed it over to us saying that so much of this game was about the mid and the jungle as a duo. Santorin, PowerOfEvil. We'll get to PowerOfEvil in just a moment. I want to talk about Santorin and the way that he played here today.
Absolutely popped off. We're talking about Closer as maybe being the best player on Golden Guardians, an all-pro player, and Santorin handled him the entire series. You know, Closer still had his place. He still found his engages, but Santorin was there every step of the way. Huge objective secures, kind of steals actually against Closer in the first game to keep FlyQuest in it when that was the closest match of the series, and then always felt like he was in the right place at the right time, executing on a game plan. He also had a great series, even against EG that they lost. So Santorin's postseason so far has been incredible.
I love that he adds those little ganks of red to the other side of the map. So we've already seen it in, I think, the last 3 weeks, where he just starts red and immediately finds one person to ruin their lane, and maybe that'll get you a little bit of tilt. And if it does, you've got a good chance to win the game.
Well, we talked about one half of the duo, Santorin. Now let's go hear from the other. PowerOfEvil is standing by with the Tigress for a word after that series.
Thank you so much, Dash. I am so happy to be standing on by with PowerOfEvil, topping the regular split charts in DPS, cranking out some major numbers here today. Tell us, why were you so comfortable on these picks, including our first time seeing Kassadin here in the LCS mid?
Well, so we practiced LeBlanc and Kassadin for a while already in the regular split, but it never looked like that strong for us, like in scrims and on stage. We never really got the chance to play it. I think today, against UGS, the LeBlanc pick seemed really strong in general, so I just blind picked it 2 times, and I feel like both times it worked out great. And from seeing in the LPL, the Kassadin is really strong against Zoe and Sylas, so we decided to pick that up as well.
Now, several have ended up talking about the fact that if you play through the jungle and mid position on FlyQuest, there's so much strength that can come here. And even in game number 3, it seemed as if we were waiting for that 17-minute moment when you got the double kill to really start setting off. While other players did come more online later on in the game, how do you handle the pressure of being such a specific and very imperative win condition for your team?
Well, I think IgNar is really strong at, like, I guess, enabling me and giving me confidence. He was strongly calling for the Kassadin pick actually in the second game when I was suggesting like multiple champions. And as you can see, our team plays really good around mid lane, and like they like to give resources to my lane. And I would say I'm pretty vocal overall on side lane. So I think it just really feels good with our playstyle.
So it sounds like you, IgNar, many members are being vocal. How does that communication and dynamic change, considering you have been flipping through different top laners recently?
So we switched our top laners for a while now, I think for like 2-3 weeks, and we're still obviously like in the process of figuring out like who is the best for each series. And I think both top laners bring a lot to the team. Today we decided for just playing with Solo, and he showed up all 3 games. So I think it worked out good for us. And I think it's really good that we have the option to change players, like I would say, and having different top laners with different styles. So that's like a big strength. And it was a big strength in like other regions, other teams as well before. And I hopefully we can keep doing that.
Interesting. So if you had to choose between TSM or 100 Thieves as your next opponent, which do you feel more confident in your strengths as a team going against?
Honestly, I think we can beat them both. I'm not afraid of either of them. I felt like our series against EG was really close, and we had it in certain moments. Not to give anything away to EG, but I think EG is stronger than both of these teams, so we should be able to come out on top if we are on point at that day.
All right, well, congratulations to you and the rest of the team, not just for today's performance, but what we are seeing of you all growing from series to series, empowered by the Ocean Drakes that keep FlyQuest going. They flood themselves into the next round of playoffs. So for more on this series, let's head over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, the Tigress. PowerOfEvil showing a little bit of confidence and maybe some positivity when looking forward towards the future best of fives that await them as they continue to cruise through this playoff picture. They did take a tough loss to Evil Geniuses, but again, we'll cite that they were dealing with the top lane substitutions. And while opponent may have been slightly weaker today, I feel like their performance today inspires a little bit more confidence in me for them moving forward in the playoffs.
Yeah, I thought they looked so much better than their series versus EG, which was still close too. And I thought Solo was great. He handled Hauntzer for the most part. There wasn't that much attention up to the top lane, so it was pretty much isolated, and he stacked up great. So I want to see them against whoever the winner is, obviously, but I hope they make it to the EG rematch, because with Solo starting from the very beginning of the series, I think it would look totally different.
There is something to be said about a team like FlyQuest that can make that run, because they would be playing so many games now, right?
Yeah.
They have another best of 5 to go for.
They've already played 7. They've already played 7.
So they could play another one and then go for another best of 5. So they could have up to 10 more games to play. So they have a very good way of crash coursing with Solo and actually just showing up as a really powerful contender here.
Yeah, FlyQuest and 100 Thieves would be the two teams that have the longest road to the finals by virtue of playing in the upper bracket and being knocked down here to the lower bracket. But, you know, I want to talk more about some individuals within this series, or one in particular, and it's the one we just heard from. Picking up player of the series is PowerOfEvil this time around. While there are many impressive performances, and we called out Santorin prior, it was this man in the mid lane putting up some disgusting damage per minute numbers, which only serve to pad his stats of already being the highest damage output per minute in the league.
And doing it with a different look. That's LeBlanc damage numbers in game 1. 1400. That's not his Azir, which we know is nasty, and his Ori and all the control mages. That's LeBlanc popping off that hard.
And the KDAs. I mean, the KDAs are crazy. And so, yeah, you can have the LeBlanc damage just popping off, but then game 2, that's the Kassadin game. Look at that CS. The Kassadin is now hard farming, so he's playing the champions how you want them to be played out. This guy has become.
I mean, even all of those stats, right? Even the KP kill participation there, nothing below 80% across the 3 games. It kind of shows that if it's not involving him, it's probably not happening for FlyQuest, at least in this series. So masterful display of mid lane mechanics here from PowerOfEvil on our 3rd day of the postseason. But I do want to take a look at the bracket as we close out the day, get a holistic picture of the postseason and where all the teams stand currently. Again, up in the top bracket, we have that 1 seed against the 2 seed Cloud9 Evil Geniuses. That won't happen until Saturday of this coming weekend, which means tomorrow's matchup is our other losers bracket matchup. 100 Thieves, who got knocked down here by our 17-1 Cloud9, up against TSM, who it's been a while since we have seen play, and this is one of the teams that I think has the most question marks around coming into playoffs, because they have shown the highest highs and the lowest lows in some cases of our 6 remaining
They have
teams.
shown that, but they have something in common that all the top 3 teams have so far, which is that they play around mid lane. Bjergsen and Dardoch can be a win condition for TSM. Same thing with Santorin PoE, Jizuke Sven, and Niski Blabber. So I have high hopes for this team against 100 Thieves, because their 2v2 mid is on paper stronger than the Ryoma Medios that we've seen for the regular season.
And I'm really excited about it just because we finally get some of the answers that we've been waiting basically all season for TSM. Like, are they good? Are they not good? No matter when you think, just when you think one is the truth, the other one shows its head. So there's no more chances of that. They either have to be good and win this series, or they lose and they're out of the playoffs and their sprint is over. So I'm really excited to see finally which TSM is going to show up when it really matters.
Mark said it. It's a do or die series tomorrow for both of our teams. While Golden Guardians is the first team to exit the postseason, either 100 Thieves or TSM will follow suit tomorrow as one more moves on to hopefully challenge out of the losers bracket and make it back up to the finals. One other quick bit of news today. Riot's tactical shooter Valorant is entering closed beta. You can get access by linking your Riot account to your Twitch account and watching Valorant streams on April 7th. That's today. In case you were wondering what day April 7th is, that's today. It's happening right now, currently. So as soon as we sign off here, head on over to the Valorant category, hop into your favorite streamer's stream who has drops enables, and hopefully you can get it all set up there. For more information, though, on how it all works, so you can look at it holistically, make sure you head over to playvalorant.com. There you can get all the information to help you set this up for it to go right. I don't know about you, gentlemen. I was hoping for 5 games today because I wanted a competitive series, but FlyQuest got us out early. I feel like now I got time for like 3 extra Valorant games before
They got beta keys. They just want to spread the love, get everybody in there, play some games.
Have you guys gotten any games in on
No,
Valorant
I
yet?
needed to restart my computer. I didn't realize I was going to, so I downloaded it last night, hoping to get some in during rehearsal, and I didn't get a chance to. But I'm restarting my computer as soon as they don't need my feed anymore.
As soon as this shuts down, Mark's restarting. Crumbs, what about you? You were an Overwatch player yourself, but now new FPS. You gonna dive in?
I mean, I'm gonna dive in. I've got a key. I gotta restart my computer as well. Get that anti-cheat Vanguard in there. But I'm kind of ashamed of this. I'm console shooter player, so I'm
Console shooter
hoping
player?
I can install a console in here and play Valorant that way.
All right, get him off the air. Cut his feed. Cut it. No. That's where I started too, my friend. It'll be an adjustment, but I would say it is far worth your while to get in there. Maybe we can get some 5 stacks going tonight after the broadcast ends. Either way, gents, thank you so much for being here with me throughout the day. Another exciting series here in the postseason. One more to hit your streams tomorrow, same time, 12:45 for the countdown, 1 p.m. for the start of that best of 5. Is going to do it for us here. For myself, the casters, the entire live broadcast crew, I want to thank you guys for watching with us here today, and have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.